Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. Let's get ready for school. I realize now with the way that this shirt works and the camera angle, it's gonna look like I'm wearing the same shirt twice. I'm actually wearing a crew neck. Cause today it's supposed to be like in the 70s and it's supposed to rain a little bit, so I feel like wearing something warm. But I'm also a little warm in my room. Like, not the good kind of warm, like the bad kind of warm. So, I don't know why, because it's like never cold in my room. Or, sorry, it's always cold in my room when it's like meant to be, or not meant to be, like in the winter time. Like, my room is always freezing for some reason. It makes no sense. My room is like always freezing in the winter time. But it's never like cool like during like summer. Like you would think that like, oh, it'd be cool then. No, it's just the same. So like right now, like my hands are actually like really hot, like being in this crew neck, because I'm also in sweats right now. But I have a feeling like when I get outside, it's not gonna be this hot. Like it's gonna be cold. You know what I mean? So I think I'll be okay. So yeah, like I said, happy Wednesday. We're almost done with the week. We're halfway through, which I honestly think is crazy, considering the fact that I didn't have school on Monday. But yeah. This week hasn't been like too bad, even though I literally only had one day of school. But we'll see what the rest of the week looks like. I don't think we're doing very much. It's like, it's hard to do a lot when you're right after like midterms, cause like you kind of, a lot of classes like a lot of like, it depends on the class, because some classes just like dive right back in, while some classes like ease more into like what they're doing, kind of, to be like, oh, let's just start off like slow. So anyway, happy 10 days till nonstop flight. I'm literally so stoked that we're like one day away from being like in single digits. Like, I have my whole plan. I had to double check the day because for some reason something didn't add up in my brain. So I was like, is it really a Saturday? So I double checked and I was like, yeah, it's a Saturday. So I'm really stoked. Like, I'm so excited for nonstop flight. And like, it's so close to, and that's like, I think like one of the crazy things is like, I feel like you can be more patient for something when you know it's within your reach. I feel like we're less patient for something when it's like really far out of our grasp, because like I still have to wait for nonstop flight. It's not here, but I know that it's only 10 days away, and for some reason that makes me feel more patient than I would be when it's like a month away. I don't know if that made sense. So anyway, yeah, I'm so stoked for nonstop flight. I feel like that doesn't make sense what I just said, but like, let me try to explain. So I feel like when you know that something's really out of your grasp, it's harder to be patient for it. But like, knowing that something is like closer, even though you still have to wait for it, it's like closer than before. Oh my god, you guys. So I don't know. Something about like it being somewhat closer in your grasp, even though it like doesn't feel like it, because you're still technically waiting for it. Feels like makes me feel like I can be more patient for the thing. Because normally I'm not a patient person. And you should have seen me waiting. Well, you kind of did see me waiting like longer when it was like gonna come out originally. But now it's like, it's 10 days away. Like, I can be patient for that. If that made sense. I don't know if that made any sense at all, but whatever. So, I think I better start talking about what I was going on a tangent about yesterday, because I said I would. And I figure that now is a good time because I have a lot of steps still left in my makeup routine. So now is a good time. So I was talking about how people were basically saying that like just because certain people worked on Drake and Josh or like the Amanda show, that they must have known something. And the fact that they act like they didn't know anything or say that they didn't know anything or whatever, like in some way like makes them an accomplice to like what he who shall not be named did. Like I've seen that like be the case, like not like be the case, but that be like something that people were saying a lot of the time. For a lot of people. Well, not a lot of people, but like two of the main people. Like, I can't remember what he did on the Amanda show, but I know he directed some of Drake and Josh. But like the thing with Virgil and his little like spiel he gave in the documentary. Because everyone thinks that his little like spiel was like too dramatic, and so that he was like he knew or something, or like they're like, how did he not know? And see, I think the thing is if we believe that everyone is potentially an accomplice, we're never gonna find peace in the world. Like I said that in the last video, but the reason why I say that is because it's like it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. It's like you act as if adults can't get blindsided and can't, like, you know, like, you act as if adults can't get blindsided. And obviously we know that that's not the truth, or else the situation probably wouldn't have happened in the first place, because those were two adults that got blindsided. And so it didn't end with Virgil. Like, it started with him, I'm pretty sure. And, because, like, it was mainly, like, online, like, such as, like, Reddit and stuff like that, that was, like, saying these things where they're like, well, how come he didn't know, or whatever, like, he should have known, or, like, this is a lie, or it's, like, too dramatic, or whatever. And it was dramatic. I just don't think it was dramatic because they were, like, hiding something. I think it was dramatic because it's still a podcast. They still have to make money. Because the thing is like, if you, and all documentaries have that really dramatic, like, like, effect. Because, like, the whole thing was playing up the reveal. I almost said the release. The reveal of Drake Bell as the child actor John Doe in that case. And even, like, they went as far to have, like, Drake, like, do this really dramatic, like, walk-in thing that did not need to happen unless they were, like, trying to play it up. And so I don't think that it was dramatic for the sake of, like, hiding something. I think it was dramatic because they are a documentary that wants to still make money, and they have to be dramatic because they are a documentary. And most documentaries are pretty dramatic. And so, yeah, I really don't think that it was, like, meant to be, like, I don't know, like, meant to be, like, hiding something. I think it was just dramatic because it's a documentary. But then another one that was catching some heat was Nancy Sullivan, the woman who played the mom on Drake and Josh, but she was also in the Amanda show. So, after Quiet on Set, I don't know how long after. It was the 20th of March, so I don't know, like, what that math adds up to when Quiet on Set came out, but whatever. Nancy Sullivan posted this really sweet post. It was this, like, picture of, like, a younger Drake, or, like, a younger Drake Bell, and it was actually, I think, one of the pictures we saw in the documentary. If not that picture, it was, like, from the same event. So, it was this really sweet photo of Drake, like a younger him. It's a cute picture, honestly. And she wrote this, like, really sweet message to, and it was just like, I was gonna say to Drake, but it wasn't really, like, directed towards him. It was just a really sweet post. And you can see that she really cared about, Drake and Amanda and all of them, because I remember, like, if you go back to previous posts on their Instagram, or on her Instagram, there's a post, I think it was when something was going on with Amanda, I'm not quite sure what. She posted, like, a little picture of her and basically said something like wishing her well and whatever she wants in life or something like that. It was a sweet message, and she did something similar, not the same, similar for Drake when he went missing that one time. Like, it was just something really sweet. And so, she made this really sweet message, and it was just, it was a really cute message and really sweet. And it was just like, it started off with, like, they weren't my real kids, but I'll always love them. And it's just like this really sweet message. And then it's just like, it pained me to, like, hear, like, how much Drake was, like, carrying or going through on our time on the shows together. And so, sweet moment and everything. Well, people are literally out here, like, saying, like, well, Nancy should have known something too. Like, and I feel like the thing is like, if you think that everyone should have known, you're making everyone an accomplice. Because that's what you're saying. You're saying, like, either they did know and they didn't do zilch about it, or they didn't know and they should have. And it's like, well, like, probably not every adult, first of all, probably not every adult is equipped to know the signs. Second of all, we live in a world, already now, we live in a world where we're probably more female dominated in that sense, in the sense where it's like, if you see a kid and if you see a boy and a girl exhibiting the same signs, I don't know if you're gonna notice the boy as much as you're gonna notice the girl, because it's just more common. But even if it's not more common, it's just like, that doesn't mean that the boy's not going through something too. It just means we're in a more female, I guess, I don't know, dominated is not really the right word, but it's like, people look more towards the girl rather than the boy, is what I'm trying to say. Like, the thing is, I think the only, like, adults that are actually, sorry, this didn't want to open, the only adults that are actually equipped to, like, know the signs, I think, are, like, teachers, I would assume police officers, probably any, like, first responder, doctors, those kind of people. I don't know necessarily if adults are, like, obviously I've never been put in that situation. I'm not an adult, but, like, I've never seen anyone have to be put in that situation that's, like, a loved one. So I don't know, like, if adults are equipped to notice the signs. But people act as if, like, people can't get blindsided. And the thing is like, if it was that simple, we would never have people being hurt. Because if it was that simple to just notice the signs, someone would notice the signs, someone would do something, the kid would be protected. It's not that simple. Unfortunately. Not everyone is going to know the signs. Again, people do get blindsided. And as sad as it is, and as much as it hurts to think about, people get blindsided. Like, things happen. Like, nobody's perfect. And I think if we make everyone an accomplice, because even though you're, like, indirectly saying that, you're basically making people, like, an accomplice, kind of. Or you're saying, like, they're an accomplice, kind of, because they didn't do anything. But it's like, they should have known. It's like, well, you're acting as if people can't get blindsided, and that is 100% not the case. People can 100% get blindsided. And I don't think that it's their fault for not noticing something. I think it's the fault of the people who could have potentially stopped it in the first place and nipped it in the bud, and they, like, shut down Drake's dad, Mr. Bell. So, you know, you gotta pick your fights. You gotta figure out who is really your opponent, if that makes sense. Because, like, Nancy Sullivan, Virgil Fabian, I think that's how you say his name, they're not your opponents. Our opponents are the person who shut down Mr. Bell, and he who shall not be named. Those are our opponents. So, and I don't think that thing with Virgil was them trying to hide anything. I honestly just think that was them just trying to play it up because it's a documentary. And so, I have much more to talk about this because there was another interview that I'm surprised people haven't started attacking. I think it's just because people, like, don't know about it either. It's like, and I could try to talk about it a little bit now, and then I'll come back tomorrow and wrap it up. But basically, there was this podcast that was done, and they had Yvette Nicole Brown on their podcast. And for those who don't know who that is the woman that played Helen in Drake and Josh. And, like, she's done other things now, but, like, most people know her as Helen from Drake and Josh. And I, like, went into this podcast thinking, well, I didn't watch the whole podcast. Someone posted, like, a little clip of it where she does actually talk about Drake Bell. And, it's like, and she does start talking about Quiet on Set a little bit. And she says, like, I joined Drake and Josh, like, later, so by the time, like, I joined, like, the damage had already been done. Like, well, she said he had already been traumatized, but I'm gonna say the damage has already been done, because, anyway, and she says something along the lines of, like, she really wished that she, like, knew, because she would just have held him through it, and it's a really sweet moment. And so the thing is like, these people are taking those sweet moments and turning them into something like you're weaponizing these sweet moments. And the thing is, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to weaponize. I think it's better to think that, like, there's people who would have held him through the situation if they had known, than thinking that, like, I don't know. It's just, like, you're weaponizing the sweet moments now. And I feel like I'm gonna have to talk about this tomorrow, so I will. Okay, setting spray number 1. It's still here, but you can barely see it. I'm literally gonna have to open the new one soon. I'm so excited. Second setting spray. Okay, y'all already know the drill. Lashes and lips off camera, and I'll be right back. Y'all, I think it's officially empty. I've, like, literally striped everything out of it, I think. And I think I'm just gonna call it a day. I think I'm just gonna leave it, say it's dead. Anyway, this is the final look. I will hope you guys have a great day. Have a blessed day. Jesus loves you. I love you. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.